Namaste. I'm delighted to introduce the next panel, which comprises of representatives from West Australia's Hindu temples, organizations, and associations dedicated to serving the society. The moderator for this session is Sri Prashant Nalanji, President of JR Educational Trust, JET Australia Foundation. He launched Prajna, a thriving value-based education program, currently with over 100 students. He has participated in Anglican schools, multi-faith forums, and conferences as a Hindu leader. The next panelist is Sri Nilakshan Swarnaraja, representative of the Perth Balamurugan Temple, and serves on the City of Vanaru's Multicultural Advisory Group. Please welcome. I'm delighted to introduce Srimati Nivedita Kelkar from the Chinmaya Mission, who was Treasurer of the Indian Society of Western Australia and Vice Chair of ISWA Women's Wing. The next panelist is Sri Nirav Maharaj, founder of GJSK, Gayatri Jan Seva Kendra, Australia. I would also like to invite Sri Nitin Gauriaji, National General Secretary of Hindu Swayam Sevak Sangh. Could I also request Sri Rakshana Rasika Anand Das, also known as Rakesh Garaya, Vice President of International Society for Krishna Consciousness, ISKCON. Could I please have Sardar Gurdat Singh Namdhari from the Namdhari Sikh community? All right. Next on the panel is Sri Arun Radhakrishnan, a trustee of the Hindu Association of WA and a devoted follower of the Perth Hindu Temple. The next on our panel is Sri Sudhir Vilani ji from the Vedic Temple, Perth. Oh, he's sick. All right. Last but not the least, Srimati Sandhya K. Shringhar. She has served as the President and Secretary of the Vedic Training and Cultural Services. Can we all give them a big round of applause?
Om Asmad Gurubhyo Namaha. Namaste everyone. Thank you all for joining today. We have gathered here as representatives of various Hindu organizations and temples, and we have deliberated on previous occasions to see what are the issues or the challenges that community as such we are facing here in Perth as Hindus. Going back traditionally, we had in India, we had the families where we have age-old, the 4 ashramas of our life, Balyam, Kaumaryam, Yavanam, and also the later stage, which is the Vanaprastha. So we had that support system back in India. And as the gentleman before, Damon, mentioned, it has to start from the families. But unfortunately, most of us has outsourced that one. And whether we like it or not, we are dependent on these organizations and also on the temples. When we look at the challenges, what we thought was in the given time, probably we will look at the 3 challenges. One is the education, and the second one is the visibility of the seva and also the services available to the community. And the last but not the least is the palliative care and the final rights for our Hindus. So we'll be dealing at these three aspects today, and I request our panel members to enlighten us about the activities, what they are doing from their respective organizations, and also we'll see how best we can move forward together and then bring in the community. So as I think we all have introduced ourselves when our panel members are coming onto the stage. So as the first topic of the day, I would mention about the seva and also the services, the visibility. When I say seva, the seva which is offered by the organizations to the larger community. And then when I'm saying the services which are available to the Hindu community. As we have seen previously, like someone mentioned about the Hindu marriage, a platform, someone from behind me saying it's already existing. So I think there are a lot of services which are available from various organizations, but not visible. So we need to bring these things to the questions what I would like to ask would be, what are some of the examples of the seva work already happening that can be better showcased, and what strategies can be adopted to bring or to communicate these seva activities more effectively?
Thank you, Prashanti. Seva Paramo Dharmaha. This is our Indian Army's motto. This phrase is derived from our Hindu scriptures. And in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Karmanye vadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Just do your action and don't worry about the results. So, in other words, emphasis is given on selfless service. So, as Hindus, our value system and our belief system has imbibed us with selfless service. So we all have, as Hindus, know that selfless service is very important for the full spiritual fulfillment. As a result of this, you see that most of the Hindu organizations across the world pay a lot of attention to this aspect of service. And Perth is not an exception to this. And in my experience, in my involvement with various Hindu organizations that I have been involved with, I just want to give you a few examples of what we have been doing in Perth for the last 20 plus years. Firstly, the Vedic training and cultural services. This morning, when we started the conference, you all heard our beautiful children chanting some beautiful shlokas so nicely. And these kids are trained in our Vedic training and cultural services, which has been in operation for the last 20 plus years. And this organization, another important aspect of this group is bringing Pandit Sri Subramanya Bhatt to Perth. And through the services of Pandit Sri Subramanya Bhatt, we offer all the rituals of a life cycle of a Hindu, which we call as samskaras, at various stages of life, to your own homes. You know how we as Hindus are emotionally connected with these samskaras, starting from Garbhadana, Simanta, Namakarana, Annaprashana, Chaula, Aksharabhyasa, Upanayana, Vivaha, and even Shraddha and even Antima Samskara. All these emotionally attached, very significant rituals that we as Hindus connect ourselves with are brought to your own homes through the services of Vedic training and cultural services. And this is indeed a great service to our Hindu community here in Perth. But not many of you may be aware of these things. Apart from these services, VTCS also holds regular monthly pujas. We do Havan once in a year on a very grand scale and for the well-being of the community. And we also do a lot of activities to encourage the classical music and classical dance events here in Perth. And in the next couple of years, we have, next couple of weeks, we have Tyagaraja Aradhana, transforming the Indian Community Center to the streets of Thiruvayur. And I welcome you all to witness this. So there are lots of such beautiful things going on with Vedic training and cultural services. We also train kids with shlokas, and we also have Rudram training and lots of activities. And it has been happening for the last 20 plus years, and we continue to grow as a community. And secondly, I also want to bring to your attention one another group called Paramparya, which has been an informal group of people. We as Hindus, we want to bridge the gap between our ancestry and traditions. So we are a small group. We pick up a topic of significance to our tradition and ancestry, and then we research on it. One person speaks about it, and it not only benefits the person who is researching, but also all the members of the community who are listening to this. And this happens once a month, and this happens in the Indian Community Center in Willetton.
Sorry for
Another
for interruption.
Yeah.
Looking at the time, can we try to be brief? I request
Yeah.
all the panel members.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just last one thing is, another thing is we always say Hindus, we are only doing service for the Hindus. What do we do for the wider community? And I am passionately involved with a group called Arpana, where we offer our charitable work to the groups of wider community. We help the King Edward Hospital in the local Perth community. We have the concept of Karma Bhumi and Janma Bhumi, where we serve both our Janma Bhumi as well as Karma Bhumi. So this is about the activities we perform. And if you would like me to expand further or come back.
We'll
on
come
it
back,
later. Yeah,
Sanjay ji.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on the Seva services, maybe I will ask Nitin.
When it comes to seva is a very integral part of who we are as a Hindu. It's not something that we have to pretend. Seva comes naturally to us. So, all of us being Hindu, we do lots of sevas. With all these Hindu organizations that we have in Perth, every single Hindu organization does something. And they do amazing job. Whether, BAPS, they are also DGR registered as well. They've got a separate organizations for that. You have got, Sadhana ji doing wonderful job with mental health. Every Hindu organization does something. But I seriously feel that, we are not visible. Our sevas might not be visible. And, there are few organizations, they do a little bit of seva and it's highlighted in ABC, SPS, all this news. And, we have heard about in today's conference that Hindus are doing so well. Economically, we are so well, in Western Australia. Our Hindu organizations are growing. In Wangara, I think we are opening our 5th temple in Wangara, one suburb. So it's pretty amazing to see. But all that building temples, it must also, the services that we do must be seen as well. So there are few initiatives that everybody has taken. It is important that maybe some of that information gets consolidated. In the previous session, we talked about, using the word Hindu. So when we do some seva, if we consistently use the word Hindu, so obviously, we want our individual organizations to be promoted, but at the same time, if it is seva done by Hindus collectively, believe me, over the period, it would make a huge impact in our, the area that we are living in. So I would give to Neeraj Bhai. He will probably share some stories about Seva Diwali. He has been, so we started Seva Diwali 2 years ago. We started in WA. Last year it was, was done nationally as well. I think Akhilaji mentioned it. Akhilaji mentioned it wonderfully, and we managed to, connect almost 110 organizations all together. Almost 35 ton of groceries was collected, and countless hours of volunteer work was done, and it was done under Seva Diwali. So just that name Seva and Diwali, which is quite, Diwali stands for Hindu Dharma. So Neeraj ji has been really good supporter, and he had taken this on board, and he will probably share few of the stories from his seva work.
Thank you, Nitin ji. Actually, my English is not good, so forgive me for my bad grammatical mistake. So,
English is language, not the knowledge.
not the knowledge.
Whatever language you speak, you speak.
Oh, thank you very much. तो हिंदी समझ में आएगी सभी को? Well,
आएगी ना, otherwise he will translate.
oh nice, thank you very much. तो बहुत हल्का कर दिया स्वामी जी ने मुझे, बहुत शुक्रिया, बहुत धन्यवाद आपका। तो मैं हूँ GJS के ऑस्ट्रेलिया से गायत्री जन सेवा केंद्र। मैं जब 2008 में आया था तो दामजी भाई के साथ यहाँ पे गायत्री परिवार पर्थ की स्थापना की थी और अच्छे कार्य चलते रहते थे, लेकिन एज पर गुरुदेव श्री राम शर्मा आचार्य जी ने युग निर्माण योजना का संकल्प लिया है, उस पर हम ज्यादा काम करते हैं। तो मैं बहुत सारी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन Okay, nice. So I connected with lots of organization, not only GJSK Australia, like Seva Diwali, Seva Australia with Preeta ji, and Ekal organization Perth, and Jalaram Temple, and most biggest charity organization in Perth is Navrang Sweet Melodies Group, and they organize our traditional folk dance in Perth every year, 4 days, and is running like last 15 years. And each night they arrange 4 nights. Each night they have a 2,500 people, and till now they donate around $250,000 they are donating to different sector in Australia, in Kenya, in Perth, and in animal sector as well. They love animal as well, so they save animal. And I just talk about GJSK Australia. GJSK Australia is a thought, not organization, because I just meet every week 200 or 300 people. So that Nitin ji told that things is not showcased. Like हम किसी को कुछ बता नहीं सकते कि हमने क्या किया, तो वो काम लोगों ने मुझे अभी दिया हुआ है. So I just take a responsibility for a Sanatan Hindu Dharma promoter Western Australia, and I just encourage everyone, come to me and tell me. I just go to people every week, and I just tell them what you have to do, what our Sanatan Dharma and what our Hindu Dharma is doing. Second thing, Seva Australia also doing a good job because Preeta ji is actively working in food charity. So every fortnightly they cook the food and distribute the Perth homeless group people. Last like 1 year or 1.5 year she is running, and with the lots of volunteer, like lots of volunteer also help her. So around 250 needed people, homeless people, every fortnightly fed. And third is Seva Diwali. Seva Diwali is amazing because when I just connected with the Seva Diwali, what I do, I just ask my Yajman, because I am the priest and I am doing a spiritual and religious work, but is not professionally. Whatever they have to donate by heart, and we do lots of charity in India and Australia. So,
Sorry to interrupt, Neerav ji. I think a lot of activities as
So
we have seen.
quickly I finish. So Siva, I just talk about the GJSK Australia, and I just talk about Seva Diwali as well. So Seva Diwali running from since the last 2 years, and we collected 36,000 raw food, and we just give that all food to lots of beneficiary charities organization in Australia, and around 150 voluntary work with us and 50 beneficiary as well. So please, if this next year also we arrange that campaign, so please come together and we just do for our community, Australian community.
Thank you very much, Neeraj. And just before I move on to the next topic, I would request Arun Krishnan ji to say his views. Yeah.
Thank you, Prashant ji, for that, and thank you for the contribution of my fellow panelists. First of all, I'd like to say that Sandhya ji talked about selfless service earlier on. My guru, Swami Shantananda Saraswati, taught us to love, give, and serve unconditionally. And the sitting example today of that is Swami Nagarnarayan ji, who for 65 years, as we heard this morning, has been doing precisely that job with no seeking of any publicity whatsoever. Selfless service with a smile always. Equally, as a volunteer at the Perth Hindu Temple, this is the oldest temple here, and we also provide service through a variety of means, but most importantly, we provide classes in scriptures and so on, and we're building a building there to carry on doing that. But most importantly, it is through the auspices of the Perth Hindu Temple that Sri Subramanya Bhatt came to Australia and for 6 years provided splendid service as a priest of that temple. And it is that kind of service which has been carried on by VTCS, and whatever Sandhya ji mentioned is actually happening. Again, service with a smile. It has done a tremendous contribution to our society that way. But I want to make two points, if I may, and that really is this. Many of you may have, in fact, been to the Perth foreshore, where you might have actually seen what's called the Swan Festival of Lights. Right? 11 years we did this. This is our Saraswati Mahavidyalaya. 11 years we did that. And that service was provided absolutely free of charge. We didn't charge anybody anything at all. Right? And that was when we used to celebrate Diwali in the foreshore. And 3-4 generations of people came and enjoyed that with the food provided by Annalakshmi. Annalakshmi, as you know, is a vegetarian restaurant which is located in the Esplanade for many, many years. And over its time, we fed 3 million people. And the philosophy of Annalakshmi was Atithi Deva Bhava. In other words, guest is God. And the philosophy of the temple of the Annalakshmi was, you eat your heart's content and pay what your heart feels. So essentially, seva has been done through this particular means in the manner that is specified, and therefore there's always the possibility of doing more of the same. And I'll stop it at that.
Thank you very much, Shanji. As we have seen from the panel who are representing various organizations, I think the seva is ingrained within us, and also there are a lot of activities, as we have seen, which are going unnoticed or noticed by only few. So maybe is there a need for us to create a joint documentation or maybe a website or a digital media way we can see these sevas as well as services? So maybe that we can adopt as one of the resolutions from this. And
I think, can you hear me?
yes, Sandhya ji, yeah.
Thank you, Prashantji. I think it's with what we saw today with HOTA, Western Australia being formed, I think there is a wider chance for making all these things visible to all the organizations. Now what's happening is, if I'm involved in some service, only my group of people are aware of that. And if someone else is involved, only those people are aware. There is no common visibility across different groups. So this is more important because one is showcasing what we Hindus as a whole are achieving, and secondly, giving awareness and the opportunity for the people to take part in these things. So both these things can be achieved by having a website or a common directory. And another one important thing that I want to bring to everyone's attention is, right now, the Perth community has grown so much that every single weekend, every day, there are like 10s or 15 different events. So we don't know which one to go on. We have no visibility. So we need to establish a community or Hindu calendar. I'm not talking about the Panchanga or anything here. This is about the community calendar. So whereby we should just go and there is some information available as to all the Hindu activities happening on one particular day, so that people who are organizing these events can organize in such a way that there is no clash. Like today we have another conference, Basava Samiti conference, and we have the VHP conference. So there is a clash, and not just these two, there are so many other events happening. So it is very good idea to have a community calendar established. And like if with my technical background, I would always go and check maybe with ChatGPT what's available today. But in order for ChatGPT to pick up what's available, the information should be there somewhere. And it would be the responsibility of this HOTA forum to make sure that all these services are placed in a centralized place on the internet. Thank you. That's my suggestion.
Thank you very much, Sandhya ji. Moving on to the next topic, which would be the education of the youth and the families. Probably most of the young Hindus and the families often feel confused or underconfident while talking about the Hinduism, as we have seen before. And as some of the previous members mentioned, I think it has to come from within. And we all here who are present in this room, we are all confident about ourselves, but there are a lot more community outside this room which are not confident enough.
Outside is a much bigger community.
So we need to bring that confidence among the people. So we need to start some way. And regarding the education, Swamiji, with your permission again, I request Nivedita ji to share some of her experience and what Chinmaya Mission does. Thank you.
Hari Om. Thank you, Prashantji. Yes, so this is a topic that is extremely dear to my heart because I came to Australia when my daughter was 3 years old. So I was searching for somewhere to go to so that she gets culturally acquainted with our culture, with our roots, with our value systems. Yes, we all do it at home in our own way, but I wanted something a little bit more authentic, and hence I found Chinmay Mission. What I found as a part of the journey with the mission is that there is so many families who, unfortunately, the parents themselves don't know enough about our culture, enough about our strong religious beliefs, about Vedanta, to be able to impart that in the correct way to our children. There are so many occasions that I go to for community events and organizations, and I hear, what festival is it today? Oh, that elephant-headed god. But do you know what Ganpati means? What does it symbolize? Our kids don't know that. They talk about Krishna as the blue guy. They talk about Shivji as the person with the blue throat, but do the kids understand what it really means? And that is where I think I started to find answers. And I wanted to share that with the other kids in the community as well. And hence I started my work with Chinmay Mission. So with Chinmay Mission, Puja Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda started Chinmay Mission. He said a really good sentence. He said, children are not vessels to be filled, but lamps to be lit. Are we as parents doing enough to light that lamp in our children of values, of culture? Do the kids know what the values are? So at the ashram, we teach them, instead of A for apple, B for ball, we teach them the values: A for adoration, B for brotherhood, C for cleanliness, K for kindness. These are the values that we as adults of the Hindu society need to impart to our next generation. And the way to do that is to actually capture the parents. That's why when we run classes, we request all the parents to sit in the family program, because a family that learns together stays together and grows together. So as responsible Hindu citizens, we need to ensure we are imparting correct values with the correct knowledge, not blind faith, with the correct knowledge to our next generation. I can talk a lot more about what the Chinmay Mission does from cradle through to Vanaprastha, but in the interest of time, I'll stop here. But if we get more time, I would like to speak about it a little bit more.
Thank you very much, Nivedita ji. Again, saying on that same topic, Neelakshan ji, if you have any views on the education.
Yeah, from the, as the name says it, I represent the Perth Balamurugan temple. In the temple, the challenge that sometimes we face is the younger generation trying to understand why we do certain things, the rituals, and what does that mean, and sometimes even parents not able to explain. So that's why now we try to enact some of the Puranas, like when the last 10 days we had the 10-day annual festival. In that, we tried to explain to children, what does this mean? Like like Narada Muni bringing a mango, and then Lord Ganesh and Lord Muruga fighting for that mango, and then Shiva asking them to come around the world. So we enacted that. We had Shiva and Parvati being carried in the middle, and then Lord Ganesh going around them, and then Lord Murugan going to the outside of the temple. So children all run behind the peacock vehicle and go with the Murugan, and then some kids see Lord Ganesh coming around the parents and getting the mango. So we enact each and every possible, as much as possible, we try to show them, and visibility is important. Like when we tell them, like, I mean, it's a mango story, they just listen to it, they don't understand. So that's how we are trying to improve and connect with the younger generation and bring in the kids and show them what we can do. And also, just to touch on the first point about the services, I'll briefly say, because please, the international students, the temple is there. It's for everybody, every community. If you can organize pujas at the university as well, but there is a place where pujas are happening. All you need to do is find some transport, organize yourselves, bring them on every Fridays. We provide free meals. So it's an Annadanam every Friday evenings. So after the puja, let them come and enjoy that socialize with everybody and enjoy a vegetarian meal as well. We welcome everybody. Please come and use the facilities. All of the volunteers are putting a lot of effort and doing these things for the society, not for us or not for just a few families. It's for the whole community. You don't have to be a member of the temple. You don't have to be doing a puja. Just come and participate and enjoy the benefits of running these spiritual activities.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Neelakshan ji. Rasikanand ji, I think I request you to, yes, thank you.
Thank you, Nalanji. So, with regards to education, I can share my own experience. I came to Australia about 20 years ago as a student, and as the youth were saying the challenges the youth face when they come here, I was once asked by a Western devotee. He actually challenged me. He said, "You are from India. Do you know anything about Bhagavad Gita?" And honestly, I had no idea what. The only thing I knew is Bhagavad Gita is a Hindu scripture that Hindus follow, but I had absolutely no idea what's in there. And that actually inspired me, seeing his example that he has taken to Krishna consciousness, to spiritual life so seriously, even though he's not a Hindu. He's probably not even heard word Krishna in his life. So I, as a youngster, took to the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, and in the beginning it looked very difficult, but actually it is not. The way it was very systematically presented through visuals, PowerPoint slides and all that, it made it very interesting, and I was very much encouraged to learn Bhagavad Gita systematically in my life. And now it's a stage where I give classes to children and try to inspire them to learn Bhagavad Gita. So one of the things that I had faced in my life was when I was growing up, I used to ask my parents the questions, why do we do this, Aarti? What does this mean? And they said, well, our ancestors have done it, so we should continue doing this. And that was not at all inspiring. And as a result of that, when I came to Australia, I was like, this is the reason why India is so backward, because they are so sentimental. They do things just because their ancestors did it. But by good fortune, I came in contact with devotees of ISKCON who very systematically taught me what Bhagavad Gita is, what our Indian values are. And that really inspired me to take to the process of bhakti very seriously. So one of the solution to this problem is parents have to understand what Bhagavad Gita is, what our scriptures are. If a child is asking a question and if the parents don't have the answer, or they give an answer for the sake of giving an answer, that is not going to develop faith. Instead, in fact, it's going to destroy their faith. So it's a very big responsibility on part of us parents to learn this knowledge very systematically and then give it to the younger generation. Many of the classes that we do, we have so many parents coming and they are very eager for their children to become devotees. They are very eager that their children should imbibe all these values in their life. But when we ask them, what are you doing? Are you following any of these principles in your life? They said, no. How do you expect your child to become a devotee when you are yourself not setting a good example for them? So as Damon, he presented his own life. He's from a Western background, but you can see he's a live example who not only wants to give this knowledge to his children, but he himself, whose entire family has adopted this lifestyle. And they are so eager and doing this devotional service in their life. And you see the result. Their children are always eager to go to India, go to Vrindavan. They are playing with cow dungs. You ask a child, go and touch a cow dung, they will be not willing to do it because they do not understand. They may think this is just a stool of another animal.
Thank you.
So-
Mr. Rajesh. I think, sorry to interrupt. Thank you very much. Because I was informed that we have very few minutes left in this panel discussion. Moving on to the last topic, but very important topic, which is the Hindu palliative care. I request Arun Krishnanji to inform us about the importance and what we need in this area.
Thank you, Prashantji. Again, before I even start this topic, I'd like to pay my obeisance to Swami Naganarayanji, who has been guiding me in this area for the past so many years. There are two certainties in life, they say, death and taxes. Taxes you can plan for, you can have a financial agent or tax agent to plan for it, but death you cannot plan for. The unpredictability of death is something which all of us are aware of. So the big question really is, what are we doing as a community to serve those who are in bereavement? How do we do the final rites? How do we ensure that the Antim Sanskara is done? Just a few bare facts. The 2021 census said that in WA, there were about 78,000 people who were of Hindu faith, as it were. It has gone up to about 100,000 now, I think. But the interesting point is this, that we are still a very young population, average age being 38. But the alarming statistic is this, that people over the age of 65 is about 11% of our population and increasing. This is people who are permanent residents and citizens of this nation. I'm not including visitors coming from India for various purposes, as it were. So with the age profile gradually shifting from the median age of 38 to older age group, as it were, the need for provision of such services is increasing as such. Now, I'd like to add here that as far as WA is concerned, I'm sure all communities are facing this problem. They're handling it in their own way within the community. But as Sandhya put it very nicely, we don't have information about that. We don't know who are doing it, how is it being done, and there's no sharing of any information whatsoever. There's an absolute need for some central directory of people who are doing this service and which community they come from. So if we, for example, in the Hindu temple, get a phone call saying somebody's passed away, what do we do next? We can then direct them to the relevant organization which is performing this task in their own language, in their own culture, as it were. That is the first point I want to make. The second point I want to make really is this, and that is essentially provision of such service is quite consuming. As you can appreciate, when you get a phone call like that, whatever time of the day or night it is, the person on the other side of the phone call is tremendously distressed, having lost somebody very, very recently, and asking for service to be provided. Now, Swami Naganarayan has done one fantastic thing, and that really is, over 65 years, he has really beautifully created a standardized form of providing this service. All the samskaras that we do, antim samskar that we do, has got a proper standardized service format, starting with Ganesha right down to the cremation in the end. And what is never understood is this, that we rely on the funeral directors to tell us when the cremation is going to be and how much of time we have, 1 hour, maybe 1.5 hours, or whatever it is, right? That's the first point. Now, the second point is that the funeral industry as such is a fairly complex industry, highly regulated industry, right? And there are lots of hoops to cross over to get into that. So the funeral directors whom we rely on to provide us an opportunity as to when and how this needs to be done. A third point that I need to make really is that the question that's asked of us is how much it's going to cost, where we're going to do, who should we go and see, etc., etc., etc. And our philosophy basically has been to provide the service. As far as the funeral director is concerned, the choice of that is entirely up to the family. Now, once again, even here, if we have a set of funeral directors who are used to performing our antim samskara in our faith, that directory can probably direct the families to go ahead and appoint those people to do the task, as it were, right? Now, that's a complex one, because funeral directors come in various shapes and sizes. One organization called InvoCare controls 26% of all the funerals in Australia in different names and forms. So really, what is the best funeral director we can't really talk about, because the cost may vary significantly, the service provided may vary significantly, and all of these decisions have to be made at a time when the parties are distressed, having lost somebody recently. So I think as an organization, we should be able to provide some information which gives them some direction in which way to go, right? Now, the cost of the funeral itself is a major issue. People buy bonds nowadays before passing on to prepare for the cost of it. The cost can vary from 5,000 to 6,000 to 50,000, depending on what you want to do. The very casket in which the body is placed, the cost of it can vary from 2,000 to maybe 4,000 or whatever. Anyway, I'll just finish off with one sentence, and that really is this. There's an urgent need for two things. For supply of individuals who can provide these services. Swami Naganarayan has been doing it for 65 years. I've been following in his footsteps. There's a need for more of us to provide these services. And I would urge each community to please to look deep within and find these. We are happy to train them, but we need them desperately. That's the first point. And the second point is that we need to have funeral directors who are able to guide us as to how to go about doing it from the point of view of cost, because cost is very, very important as such. And lastly, everything is beamed to India and all around the whole world. We cannot accommodate all the requirements that India and the world provides in the 1 hour we have that we do the funerals as such. So it's very big industry, complex industry, a difficult and emotionally charged issue. It needs significant sharing of information. And I hope whichever organization is going to be, is to provide us this directory that we're talking about. Thank you, Raj.
Thank you very much, Arun. It is very important, if I can pick up the points from what you mentioned, we need a directory of the services and we need volunteers who can be trained from the grades such as Naganarayanji and Arun Krishnanji. And also, we need to deal with the funeral directors, which is a different ball game. Probably from the community, from our community, what we can see is from every organization or any organization whoever is interested in serving this cause can come forward and contact Arunji and Naganarayanji. And also, I believe Neeravji also does these services. Hariji, do we have another 5 minutes? No? Okay. So probably I would conclude saying that there is an absolute need to provide a community events calendar. And also there is a need to provide a directory of the services and the seva opportunities. Probably, as Sanjay mentioned, maybe the Hota can cover. And also for the palliative care, we need the more people who are trained. This is an emotionally charged situations where we need more balanced and stable and knowledgeable people who can provide that kind of support to the community when in need. And having said that, even though we were given a bit less time, I thank all the panel members here who are representing various organizations. Thank you very much for taking time, and also all the members who are here. Thank you very much for your patience and attendance.